Hey friends, I haven't been on here in like live in a very long time, but I felt a little inspired today, so I wanted to come and talk about something just really quick. I won't be on here long. I just had the privilege of doing a very exciting podcast with Mahogany. I think it's Mahogany Brown, if I'm remembering, but she is a parent who has a child with autism, as so do I. And as some of you know, last May, I went ahead and did the whole testing process to be formally diagnosed as an adult with autism level 1. And it brought about a lot of emotions. One of the largest emotions or things that came up was grief. And with the grief came just lots of introspection, lots of looking over things, finding areas in my life where I learned about I had needs but didn't know I had those needs and didn't know how to meet those needs. So I'm a huge advocate for mental health, a huge advocate for therapy, for psychiatric conversations, all those things. Because I do believe as an adult, you are responsible for who you are. Now, you might not have been responsible for all the reasons why, how you got to where you're at, but you are responsible for taking control of and taking responsibility for who you are today and who you will become. And in all of that, getting this autistic diagnosis um, was just tremendously valuable. I got a chance to look back to the person who I've always been my whole life and in a few weeks just validate all of the things that I thought were wrong with me. They weren't wrong, it's just who I was. So there was a lot of grief in that process of looking back and just that feeling of I always felt like I was never good enough. I always felt like something was wrong with me. But in one moment of getting that confirmation of the autism diagnosis, I realized nothing was wrong with me. It was just in certain areas I just had higher needs than other people, and I now get to meet my needs my way. So that was a part of just the discovery part was, oh wow, the light bulb went off, but then it was grief of all the days that I spent just not having the support that I needed. Another part of the grief was finally realizing that uh, that I'm different, but also I get to love me now as the person I always was, and I no longer have to mask. One thing with neurodivergent persons or persons whose minds just work a little bit differently, we struggle to have to be neurotypical or uh, we struggle to have to exist in worlds where things need to be a certain way, and if we don't have that attribute or that characteristic or that you know that thing, we then have to create it or mask or pretend like we're more calm than we're not, or pretend like we know a thing or we're not. And that's what masking is. And I just look back at all the times and days when I masked and just I felt grief. Like, wow, I couldn't be myself in this situation or that situation because the pressure to be neurotypical was great and upon me. So my pathway to joy was realizing first becoming self aware of all the attributes, the autism attributes of me that I can affirm, that I can love, that I can be. And then my next journey to joy was I no longer have to mask. Um, I can be myself, be authentic. If a room is too bright, I can turn down the light. I can leave if I need to. If the music's too loud or I'm in a place where it's just so sensory, like I have a sensory overload, I get to put in my earplugs. I get to leave if I need to, or I get to work out my schedule so that I get more rest when I need it. And then the part of joy I want to talk about is that special part of finally. I now know what I need and I can meet my needs. Because one thing about being a woman of color, a black woman, we often want to save the world and put ourselves on the back burner, and we set ourselves on fire to keep others warm. Not now. I now know that I need to be kept warm too. So I need to take care of my needs. And then when I take care of my needs and fill my cup is filled so that I can fill the cups of others. So just want to come on here and talk about from grief to joy as a late diagnosed person with autism. And I hope this helped someone. I'll be coming on a little bit more to talk about it because this is important space for us. And thank you for listening. Bye bye.